According to recent court documents, Josh has 20 cents in his bank account and no savings because the Duggar family has stopped sending him money. Josh's wife, Anna, and their 6 kids reside in an Arkansas home worth $1 million. Josh, 37, has been incarcerated for 151 months for offenses involving child pornography and will not be eligible to leave until December 23, 2032. Josh is now defending himself and seeking to have the conviction reversed in his latest fight for freedom, following multiple unsuccessful attempts. The U.S. Sun can exclusively reveal on fresh documents Josh filed as part of his appeal, which recently admitted his financial situation while detained. As of April 2025, Josh owes 2 cents and has only 22 cents in his account. He described his situation in detail in his statement, including his assets, savings, income from no other source, and absence of job. Movin currently performs a prison work assignment but does not receive any pay for compensation, Josh claimed in the court documents. Therefore, Movin is not obligated to reveal any earnings from his employment. Movin does not currently own any real estate or personal belongings. Josh claimed that not even his loved ones were sending him money while he was inside. He stated that Movin occasionally receives money from family and friends, but as not during the reporting time for this request. In other cases, Josh's father, Jim Bob, and several of his siblings have shown their support for the departed relative. With his balance at $0, Joshua claimed to have limited commissary use. Rare videos showing Anna Duggar's children, Madison and Mariella, inside their brand new $1 million home are released 3 years after Josh was given a prison sentence. He also claims that he has owed money for illegal restitution and fines related to earlier court cases. In his court filings, Josh asserted that he is entitled to relief and is unable to cover the cost of these profits. Josh had requested that the court give him new lawyers so that he could file an appeal on May 12, as the U.S. Sun had previously reported. Josh claims that there are complex constitutional and evidentiary issues in his case, such as legal judgments and trial strategy, potential Brady violations, and errors in the inclusion of forensic evidence. These matters should be carefully examined by experienced attorneys to determine whether there are any grounds for relief, as they could be pertinent to a collateral attack. New legal theories and strategies have emerged in public discourse that may be relevant to the defendant's case, he claimed, citing the occurrences following his 2021 trial. Josh asserted that his lack of expertise and experience in the field makes him unfit to carry out an independent investigation. Josh used the phrase, unable to afford counsel, to characterize his current financial circumstances. In a letter to the U.S. Sun, Josh pleaded with Judge Timothy L. Brooks to help with the request. I am currently incarcerated and proceeding pro se, Josh wrote at the beginning of his letter to the judge who heard his trial on May 12, 2025. I seek the court's assistance in appointing counsel to help evaluate my case and, if appropriate, prepare a motion to vacate, set aside, or correct my conviction and sentence. Throughout my term, I have made it a goal to stay in touch with my family, work on myself, advance spiritually, and finish my education. However, after closely reviewing my case, I have concluded that there are significant problems with evidentiary judgments, trial errors, and other constitutional violations, which necessitate a thorough post-conviction review. I am unable to fully assess these matters on my own, which is why I seek the assistance of qualified counsel to help evaluate whether relief is justified. Josh's request for a new legal team was denied. Josh has made the decision to proceed with the appeal and is acting as his own attorney. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's eldest son claims that his constitutional rights were violated in a number of ways and that he was deprived of a fair trial. According to earlier reports in the U.S. Son, Bobby Holt, a family friend and the mother of his ex-girlfriend, gave uncorroborated and prejudicial testimony. A guilty verdict may also be overturned on the grounds of perjury by a government agent, false testimony by a government agent, the exclusion of evidence about an alternative perpetrator during the trial, and other offenses. Josh has adamantly maintained his innocence since his sentencing in May 2022 and has been aggressively seeking an appeal of the decision. Josh challenged his verdict for the first time in October 2022. In August 2023, the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals denied his appeal for a retrial. Justin Gelfand, Josh's lawyer at the time, claimed that during a raid at his car dealership 15 months before his arrest, federal agents confiscated his phone when Josh tried to call his lawyer. Being unrepresented by counsel, he spoke to the agents. The court rejected the new trial. According to court documents, even though the agents did read him his Miranda rights, which could convey the appearance that someone is in prison, agents were told to scratch out the part that said Duggar was being taken into custody before he could sign a form clarifying his rights, though. The documents were changed to explicitly state that he might leave. The government benefits from the second and third factors. Duggar sat in the front passenger seat as the agents pulled up in their truck. He was free to move about during the interaction, as evidenced by his ability to get in and out of the car on his own without being shackled. Duggar voluntarily acquiesced to the agents' interrogation even after they started talking to him about it. For almost an hour during the interview, he continued to converse with them after asking, "Has somebody been downloading child pornography?" At the end of interrogation, no one arrested Duggar. Unexpectedly, he willingly ended the conversation and left the dealership, hardly a decision a person in captivity would make. The final sentence of the ruling said, "We accordingly affirm the judgment of the district court." In June 2024, the Supreme Court denied the conviction appeal. Josh, his 37-year-old wife Anna, and their 6 kids live in a lavish $1 million estate in Arkansas. On April 15, 2025, Jim Bob, 59, paid $1 million for a house using an LLC he owned. 6 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms are included in the house. Built in 2008, the home is 6,318 square feet and sits on 10 acres of land. Anna and her children will have plenty of peace and quiet at this property because of its tree-lined yard and private entrance. Dark hardwood floors and matching woodwork can be found on the home's main floor. The living area features a wood-beamed vaulted ceiling and a fireplace. This kitchen's features include granite countertops, wood cabinets, tile flooring, stainless steel appliances, and an island. The master suite has 2 sinks, a raised bathtub that is reachable by stairs, and a walk-in shower. A bonus feature is the large basement, which includes a built-in bar and a locking gun room that opens to a covered patio for outdoor enjoyment. The house also features a 2-car garage and a second-floor porch facing the grounds. The property has hardwood floors, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a guest house within. There is also a 40 by 50 barn with 6 horse stalls and a wash station. Anna posted a video of her kids playing with the puppies she breeds inside her house. Josh Duggar, the former star of 19 Kids and Counting, was sentenced to 151 months in prison in December 2021 after entering a guilty plea to downloading and possessing photos of child sex assault. The timeline of the former reality star's legal issues is provided below. Josh was initially suspected of downloading material including child sexual assault in May 2019, after a Homeland Security investigators' investigation. Homeland Security authorities raided Josh's PC at the car dealership where he worked in late November. Josh was arrested on April 29, 2021, and he remained in an Arkansas prison without bond. He pleaded not guilty at a hearing the next day via Zoom at the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Arkansas, where he was charged with receiving and possessing photos of child sex abuse. Josh's trial began on November 30, 2021, in a federal courthouse in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and a verdict was issued on December 9, 2021. He was found guilty of receiving and knowing about child sex abuse. In May 2022, Josh was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison, along with a $50,100 fine and special assessment. Later, in the second half of 2023, Josh's defense team appealed to the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, but their plea was denied. Shortly after, Josh filed an appeal for a fresh trial. Josh's attorney argued that federal officials would not allow him to call while he was under custody. On June 24, 2024, Josh's request was once again turned down. Josh was charged with possessing and receiving child pornography after being arrested in April 2021. He was found guilty after a trial that lasted about 2 weeks in Arkansas. Josh received a 151-month sentence in May and was transferred to FCI Seagoville in June 2022. Josh was last seen strolling the jail's track in December 2024, marking his first time behind prison gates in years.